Mount Kilimanjaro stands alone, not as a challenge, not as a trophy, but as a presence. Long before maps gave it borders, long before climbers gave it times, the Chaga people lived beneath it. Explorers and missionaries attempted to describe what local people already knew. Kilimanjaro was not discovered, it was introduced to the world. And the mountain remained unchanged. Rising to 5,895 meters, Kilimanjaro is the highest freestanding mountain on Earth. It comprises an entire planet's climate in a single ascent: cultivated land, rainforest, heath and moorland, alpine desert, and finally the Arctic cold. Each zone removes something human: strength, comfort, oxygen. This climb belongs to John Kibo, a mountain athlete. But Kilimanjaro does not belong to those who climb it. It belongs to time. And time humbles everyone. This is the story of a man who understood that. John Kibo, a mountain man, a runner against altitude, a friend whose work centers on high-altitude performance on Mount Kilimanjaro, a man who measured effort in breath, not applause. Last year, John reached the Uhuru Peak in 11 hours, a time that demanded absolute discipline. The mountain will always be there, so will the need, and this is why the journey continues. This year, he returned with a clear intention: to reduce that time to 9 hours, to test his limits against altitude, weather, and fatigue. At altitude, survival becomes simple: movement, breath, hydration. Water drawn from volcanic ground, filtered naturally through time and rock. Kilimanjaro drinking water is sourced from a natural spring at Sri Matunda Moshi in the Kilimanjaro region. At the base of this mountain, it is not manufactured to imitate purity, it is protected to preserve it. In environments like this, water is not refreshment, it is continuity. Since 1994, Kilimanjaro drinking water has carried the mountain's name, not as a symbol of dominance, but of origin. To take from a mountain requires responsibility, to communities, to ecosystems, to future generations. This climb reflects the same obligation. The water is bottled using modern processing and packaging technology designed to maintain hygiene, safety, and quality throughout production and distribution. Kilimanjaro drinking water meets both national and international quality standards. Kilimanjaro drinking water is available in multiple sizes to support different uses: natural origin, reliability, consistent quality, accessibility, and affordability. Fast ascents increase physiological stress due to limited acclimatization time. Rapid summit attempts demand exceptional cardiovascular fitness, metabolic efficiency, and real-time physiological monitoring. Mount Kilimanjaro does not resist climbers with steepness alone. It resists them with physics, with biology, with the slow mathematics of oxygen and pressure. As the altitude increases, barometric pressure drops. Each breath delivers fewer oxygen molecules to the lungs. Dehydration accelerates rapidly. Respiration alone increases fluid loss. Cold suppresses thirst. Exertion magnifies both. Water becomes a metabolic support. At altitude, judgment becomes a critical performance factor. John continuously evaluates physical symptoms, weather changes, and pacing to balance ambition with safety. Choosing to continue, slow down, or stop is part of the performance itself. On Kilimanjaro, the mountain teaches you this lesson quickly. You do not always win, but you always learn. And those who return stronger. As the body becomes hypoxic, the brain begins to prioritize survival over ambition. Every system is affected. The heart rate rises dramatically, attempting to compensate for thinner air by circulating blood faster. The lungs respond by increasing breathing rate. Hyperventilation becomes automatic. When oxygen is insufficient, the body shifts towards anaerobic energy systems. Fatigue rises earlier. Recovery disappears. It is not about strength, it's about tolerance. Kilimanjaro does not respond to intention. During the ascent, rain soaked the roots. Cold slowed the body. Wind arrested momentum. At high altitude, progress becomes negotiation. Every step requires permission from the mountain. As altitude increases, heart rate rises to compensate for lower oxygen delivery. Breathing becomes faster and deeper. Blood oxygen saturation decreases. Dehydration accelerates. Muscle efficiency declines. Cognitive function slows. Above 3,000 meters, climbers may experience altitude sickness. Cold forces vasoconstriction. Blood is redirected away from extremities to protect vital organs. John did not break his record, but he strengthened his vision. And sometimes, the most meaningful summit is not the one you stand on, but the one that stands within you. The mountain remains, so does the purpose. In endurance, failure is not collapse, it is information. This climb was never only about speed. John was running for children who wake up without parents, children who rely on care, structure, and consistency. The climb was meant to draw attention, to raise awareness, to support food, shelter, and education for orphaned children in Tanzania. This was not a failed attempt, it was a fulfilled purpose. Knowing your limit does not mean accepting it. Kilimanjaro teaches restraint before reward. It reminds every climber that returning is not weakness, it's wisdom. On March 25th, John will attempt this record again, not in defiance of the mountain, but in a dialogue with it. Preparation, acclimatization, recovery, timing, conditions, and respect. Mount Kilimanjaro does not reward ambition. It responds to balance between effort and restraint, between speed and awareness, between will and biology. John did not break his record, but he listened to his body. And in extreme environments, that is not failure, it is survival. March 25th, the variables reset. The mountain remains unchanged. The human experiment continues. In high altitude, endurance, success is not defined by how far you can push, but by how well you can listen.